care about what we say, what you say. It is obvious. The only thing that matters now is what we do.
Hello and welcome back to the stream. I don't know if anyone's here. If they're not, too bad. You snooze, you lose. Too bad, so sad. Yeah, I'm very, very, very sleepy. I was up all night with stomach cramps, and by the time my stomach cramps stopped, it was 6:30 a.m. So not really time to go back to sleep. Hello, Ricochet. Good to see you. Yeah, my voice is pretty croaky, so I don't know. Bear with me. Oh wow, that tea is hot. I guess it's time for the New York Times games. Yes, that is what we shall do. Let's Let's go. Whoop. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. There we go. Look at that. What a genius I am. Certified genius. Ha 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 ha. See what I did there? I'm funny. That's called comedy. That is called comedy. Alright, we have the letters L, H, Y, A, I, and O, and we have to use the letter D. Hey Dango, how are you? We have the word daily. We have the word holiday. Which I need to go on a holiday. That would be nice. Oh. I finished the game with the word holiday. I think I used all the letters. How do I go back and see? Oh, hi, Pobovian. I think I did that thing where I used all the letters in the thing. It won't let me look. Hello, Prism. How you doing? Oh, well. That just means I'm a genius. That just means I used all the letters in one word like a genius. Blowout party? That sounds rather suspicious. I'm okay. I'm pretty tired. I didn't get much sleep last night, but yeah, it's a long day. Mondays are always long anyway. A JetBlue holiday? No. No, just when I say a holiday, I mean like I would probably stay home in bed, honestly. Like I don't need to go anywhere. I just need to not go places. Like that to me is a holiday. That's, you know, nice and restful. Airline with Sky Club lounges. Do I seem like I'm rich enough to know that? I've never been in any type of lounge. Body part that can be held with one hand, but not both. No comment. Hey, Delta. Get an F. Fail? I should know that. Oh, it doesn't fit. Subdued. Ramsay of The Last of Us. Collection of Facebook photos? I don't know, I think that's an album maybe. Building material for the Washington Monument. Red-tailed or red-shouldered bird. Masterful. Rocks and stones. Brick. Huh. Well. S-T-I-N-E-V-R-I-C-K. Oh, it could be anything. What should we put there? Stone. Let's try stone. Is the Washington Monument the obelisk, or is it the thing of the giant Abraham Lincoln in like the weird little mausoleum looking thing, but it's like his statue? I don't even know which one it is. Blowout party. Wrist or elbow for 6. Give that a crack. Yeah, it's gonna be elbow, I reckon. I think so. Five is sweet. Oh. That does fit. Oh, this could be flunk. I think Americans say flunk, right? They're like, oh no, I flunked out of class. Oh no, I failed my chem exam. Oh. I've heard them say that before, I feel like. Oh, okay, yeah. I think 2 is album. I haven't used Facebook in probably a decade, but I believe that they were called albums, so yeah, I think so. But that's all right. Even if it's wrong, it doesn't matter. We'll just keep it in there for now. Mm-hmm. 5A is Delta. It's an airline that fits. Oh, aren't they the ones that, like, bash people? Don't they bash people? Like, because apparently they, like, routinely overbook their flights. And I've seen them, like, bashing an old man trying to get him off the flight. When, like, he had a ticket, you know, he went to his assigned seat, and then they were like, no, you can't do this. And it was, like, this old Asian man that was, like, a doctor. And he was elderly. Crazy behavior. America scares me, honestly. You were gonna say they bash people? Yeah, I would be so scared to fly domestically in America. I would be so scared. Look, you can say what you want about Jetstar. It's pretty fucking shit. But I've never been bashed by anyone. You know, so... Gotta say... Oh, Bella Ramsey. She's a girl from Game of Thrones that played the Bear Island girl. I can't remember the characters anymore, but I'm pretty sure her name's Bella. And people were mad because she got cast in that zombie show, and apparently she doesn't look like the I don't know, whatever the source material is, the game or the freaking I don't know. Oh, Defect just subscribed for 2 months. Defect's like the money bags around here. He's always giving me stuff. Thank you so much, Defect. Wow. I think you must be subscribed for like a millennia by now. I think you're giving people subs, you're subbing, you're a stream whale. Well, if I get like 500 million more of those, I can retire. Like, think about the possibilities. One across is bash, blowout party. Okay. I think blowout means something different to what I thought it meant. Because the only blowouts I know are like your hair, when you get like your hair blown out. Or I found out, unfortunately, once what the bop in Bop House stands for. Apparently it stands for blown out pet name for cat. And that was a disturbing discovery. Subdued is tame. To tame somebody is to subdue them. There we go. We tamed the crossword. We subdued the crossword, if you will. Look at us. Geniuses. Yeah, like when you do your hair for the Bowls Club. Honestly, like it just adds more volume to your hair, and you can add a bit of a curl. Like, my head never looks better than after I've just got it cut, because I have very fragile hair because of the medication that I'm on, right? And my hair's also very, very, very long. So it's down to my bum. And I don't like using heat on it, right? Because it damages it. And you can't really have long hair if it's damaged. So you have to take heaps good care of it. But when I go to the hairdresser to get like a trim and get my layers fixed up, they do dry it with the blow dryer, which is fine because I get my hair cut like twice a year. And it always looks so good. It's like, oh, if my hair could look like this every day. But then I wouldn't have healthy hair, right? I would have damaged hair. So, I don't know. You gotta weigh it up. So a blowout is like a party? Is that what that means? You haven't had a haircut in 3 years? Yeah, you used to have long hair? Long like Sadako? Yeah, well, it is long and dark, but I think I'm gonna dye it. I think I'm gonna dye it like a warm dark brown instead of like my natural color, which is quite close to black, just because I think it's kind of washing me out a little bit, and I think I look a little bit, you know, a little bit sallow. Like, it is my natural hair color, and it does make my eyes look very, very green. But I think I just want to, you know, have a little bit of a auburn color, a little bit of a dark auburn color. I think will look nice. Not that anyone cares, but I'll just share it with you all anyway. Make it dark blue or forest green. Because I would have to bleach my hair to do that defect, and it would almost certainly fall out. So we won't be doing that. I can put little fake bits of hair in my hair. I would never bleach the whole thing. That is crazy talk. Although I did used to dye my hair blonde sometimes when I was in high school. I had long blonde hair down to my bum when I was about 15. And then I dyed it black and had just like bleach streaks at the front, kind of going for like a Rogue from X-Men kind of look. That seemed to be popular among the male population. I definitely had a lot of grown men hitting on me on public transport. That's traumatizing. Especially considering I've always looked young for my age. Do you have to bleach it if you want it dark? If you want to do a color like blue or green, because obviously dark hair is like the highest saturation. So you have to strip the pigment from your hair. So the way that you do that is you strip your hair. So that essentially takes the pigment out and will make it like a blondie color. And then after your hair's like pretty light, then you can start to add colors like greens, blues, yada yada. But if you just do that over dark hair, it's not. Your hair's already got so much pigment in it, it's not going to take up anymore. So yeah, if you want to have like the lighter your hair color is, the more you can, the more you can do. So say like if I wanted to put colored streaks in my hair right now, I would have to bleach the parts of my hair. If I wanted to make them purple, or I wanted to make them magenta or whatever, I would have to bleach the crap out of my hair. And that's why like the girls that have like blue hair and purple hair and stuff, their hair always looks like pretty bad because it's really unhealthy, because they have to bleach it. Assuming like they're not Nordic or something and don't like have, or albino, they suffer from albinoism. I mean, that would be convenient because you would have no pigment in your hair. You'd be able to do whatever you wanted to it. That I guess that's a one in the plus column for being an albino. Maybe. What do we have? We've got normal, dump, vanilla, weight, ages, horse, standard, plain, strand, chocolate, measure, volume, count, matter, maroon, dessert. Count, measure, weight, volume. Weight, volume, measure, and count. Those are all like ways to measure things. I don't know. Measure, volume, matter, and weight. Yeah. It's something along these lines, I think. We've also got plain vanilla chocolate. Pardon me. I am very tired, so if I just randomly start yawning, it's the fatigue. Normal is also a measuring term. Maroon, strand, dump, and desert. Oh, maroon. Not maroon. Maroon. Yeah, that's really good, actually. Maroon. That's definitely gotta be it. Yay! I read that as it in like the Queensland Maroons. I don't know. I'm still dirty over state of origin, I guess. I'm just seeing those Queenslanders everywhere taunting me with their victory. Disgusting. Yeah, they are definitely living rent-free in my mind. Although last week the Parramatta Eels and GWS won in the same week. So, you know. Measure volume. Count. I don't know. I'm too Aussie for my own good. I don't think there's such a thing as being too Australian. I don't think you can ever be too Australian. However Australian you are, you could always tend to be a little bit more, I feel like. That's my measure for life. Standard, plain, normal, vanilla. Oh, that is perfect. Things that are plain. Standard, plain, normal, vanilla. Ordinary. Do I want to go with weight or do I want to go with matter? I don't know. You type too slow. A likely story, Delta. No, I believe you. I believe. Sometimes I'm working something out and I say it and then I look back at chat and I'm like, oh, I thought of it. Like, I thought of it at the same time that someone entered it into the chat. Dark matter, dark chocolate, dark horse, dark ages. Oh, you are a genius. Dark ages, dark chocolate, dark matter, and dark horse. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Oh, this means I was right about this. Count, measure, volume, and weight. That was the first one I said. Yay. Specs on consumer packaging. There we go. I think the conclusion from this is that we are all geniuses and we all deserve a pay rise and we all deserve I don't know, a parade probably, a state funeral when we die, all of these things. Like I think that's really what we deserve. I have to get a new microphone because apparently this mic is like emitting a humming noise and it's just old, so I'm gonna get a new one. Man, I'm spending so much money on this streaming thing, although having a new PC is really sick. Today my my Sailor Moon fan covers arrived, so I've got to screw those on and it's gonna look so pretty. You all deserve a goth girl with a wolf cut to beat you to death. Well, I mean, if that's what you're into, you know, why not? Why not? All right, Australia is going to recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly. Well, just about flippin' time. Could have done it years ago, but hey.
Allies in recognising Palestinian statehood at the United Nations General Assembly next month. The historic shift in foreign policy has been approved today by Cabinet, ending weeks of speculation. The Prime Minister declared now is the moment to move and that the world cannot wait for success to be guaranteed. Critics say it rewards Hamas for the terror it unleashed on Israel on October the 7th. National Affairs correspondent Jane Norman begins our coverage.
A momentous shift in Middle East diplomacy.
Today I can confirm that at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September, Australia will recognise the state of Palestine.
Australia to join France, the UK, Canada and possibly New Zealand in making the historic pledge.
Yay, let's go.
A global campaign to push for Palestinian statehood.
The risk of trying is nothing compared to the danger of letting this moment pass us by.
This September, the international community has the chance to forge hope from despair.
And think about how many lives potentially could have been spared if, I don't know. Well, I don't even know how many times in my lifetime the vote for Palestinian statehood recognition has been put forward at the UN. But I know countless times Australia's just abstained because they don't want to piss off America. Oh my God, don't even get me started on that interview with that ex-CIA freaking dickhead that we watched the other day. He made me so mad, but I was reading the comments on it and everyone was like, no, this guy's still a spook. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he's still working for the Americans. He's full of shit. I was like, thank God, like, normal people can see through it. Because oh my God, he's not even sophisticated with his lies because even like just the general public could see through what he was saying. Like, how does it make sense that we are advantaged by our relationship with America and we're actually the ones that are the drain? It makes no sense. Or what did he say? That it was actually better for us that Pine Gap was here and that they didn't need Pine Gap to triangulate their weapons systems. Like, I don't know how you think triangulation works, mate, but pretty sure it's straight lines. Pretty sure, I'm pretty sure the edges of a triangle are straight. Anyway, it did my head in, and I'm glad that the general public thought he was an idiot. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a full like Karen boomer, like elderly lady maneuver. I'm gonna write to immigration, and I'm gonna write to the AFP, and I'm gonna write to like ACES and ACO, and ask that he have his citizenship reassessed, because he's a dual citizen. He could have his citizen stripped, because the only time it's unlawful under international law to strip somebody's citizenship is if they only have one citizenship, because you can't render somebody stateless, right? So you have to like, if you're born in Australia and you're a piece of shit, but like you don't have another citizenship, like say you go overseas and you involve yourself in some terroristic activities or something like that, the Australian government can't say, well, you're not Australian anymore and you can't come home. You would believe that Pine Gap is redundant, but military loves redundancy. Well, they always need a backup. Look, I know they've got all these sophisticated satellites and this, that, and the other, but they still need a base under the satellite. They still need something. Like, if you don't think that, like, enemy combatants are just going to be taking out, like, warring states, each other's satellites, like, I don't know what to tell you. Look, little Elon Musk and his little pea brain worked out how to chuck stuff into space. I don't think it's that complicated. A bunch of drunk Russians with, they were the first ones to do it. chucking dogs up there, Sputnik, you know, all of those things. Even women were cosmonauts. I'm just joking. Obviously, like, Russian women are insane. Don't mess with them. I say that as a Russian woman. You don't want to be messy. You don't want to be messy with us. We might be drunk, but we're functional drunks, okay? We're functional drunks.
Australia's promise comes with conditions. The Prime Minister is seeking assurances directly from the Palestinian Authority that Hamas will have no role in any future Palestinian state and that the authority itself demilitarises, commits to holding elections and continues to recognise Israel's right to exist. The objective, to isolate Hamas and unite Gaza and the West Bank under the Palestinian Authority's control.
I don't think you really get to put stipulations or like demands on Palestinians for their statehood to be recognized. That's disgusting. Palestine existed way before Israel did. Like, I like antique, like all the furniture that I own is antiques, right? I'm always going into secondhand shops and I've even like restored pieces of furniture. I love antiques. I don't know, it's the goth girl in me. I just love old things. But I have a lot of old maps. And if you look at maps from like, you know, the turn of like the 20th century, it says Palestine. It says Palestine. I have a lot of old maps. I have like an old globe, like a really beautiful like antique globe. It's gorgeous. It says Palestine on it. They were always recognized. They were always like, historically, they always existed. Like, you don't get to put like these demands on them.
The risk here is this is rewarding terrorism. It's not getting to a lasting peace, which we all want to see.
The Albanese government has been dragged kicking and screaming to take this small step.
The government has been moving cautiously. The Foreign Minister first flagged this shift a year ago. But the decisive moment came last month when France, horrified by the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, confirmed it would recognise Palestinian statehood. Other Western nations quickly followed, and now Australia too, joining what's become a truly global push to ratchet up pressure on Israel. Anthony Albanese conveyed the news to his Israeli counterpart in a half-hour conversation described as civil. But Benjamin Netanyahu, backed by the United States, is undeterred.
To have European countries and Australia march into that rabbit hole, it's actually shameful.
Israel's ambassador to Australia.
You don't know what shame is. You don't know what shame is because if you did, you wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning. What you have is some type of psychological pathology where you are unable to experience shame because you would not be able to live with yourself. You would not, if I did even a fraction of the things that this man did, I would either one, have to self-delete because I wouldn't be able to live with myself, or I would be so medicated and be in a padded cell because I would feel terrible. Don't project, don't project your false assumptions about what shame is onto other people. You don't know what shame is. You are the definition of shameless. That is a human emotion that you could do with experiencing BB. You could definitely do with a few cubic metric tons of shame. I don't know. I can't speak English, guys. I'm doing my best.
Australia adding peace is built by ending terror, not rewarding it, accusing Australia of undermining Israel's security and derailing hostage negotiations.
There is a momentum that has been created. I think we're moving and there is no going back.
Gratitude from the Palestinian Authority, hope for Palestinian Australians.
It honestly means a lot to the Muslim community.
This is about much more than drawing a line on a map. This is about delivering a lifeline to the people of Gaza.
And there's no going back from here. Jane Norman, ABC News, Canberra.
With analysis of today's developments, here's Global Affairs editor Laura Tingle.
The Prime Minister says Australia is recognising Palestine because Israel's actions are making a two-state solution impossible by its physical demolition of Gaza and its expansion of settlements into the West Bank. But the decision also reflects profound shifts in the strategic tectonic plates in the Middle East. In the course of 2025 alone, Israel's international standing has profoundly changed. The United States' standing has profoundly changed, as has the position of the Arab world. Israel's brutal and relentless war on Gaza...
Look at this. It looks like the moon. It looks like a moonscape. And I should know because I'm Australian and I live on the moon. So I recognize this.
And the increasingly erratic international diplomacy of Donald Trump has made other leaders realise they cannot rely on US leadership. The international community has few levers to pull to effect change. Recognition of Palestinian statehood is one of the few at this point of time, and the assessment is there is little choice now but to prop up and develop the Palestinian Authority as a viable body of governance. Australia has made clear that the international...
Yeah, so the Palestinian Authority is in the West Bank, not in Gaza, but obviously, like, this is a country that's, you know, been... Palestine is a land that's been kind of fragmented by, obviously, the establishment of the Israeli state, so it's kind of disjointed, but obviously they are the same people, the same history, and the same culture. It's just, you know, it's kind of disjointed in the way that it... Anyway, you get what I mean. So this would be a West Bank governance of the Gaza Strip, essentially, but still by Palestinians.
Community will be taking a very hands-on role. That will include providing resources and people to help build the machinery of government, as Australia has done in places like East Timor and states remaking themselves in the 1990s after the fall of the Iron Curtain.
What is happening? There we go. Netanyahu. Oh. What's happening? Deborah Knight is attacking me. Help! Help! Oh, it started auto-playing another video. Deborah Knight, she stalks my dreams. She watches me when I'm sleepy. She watches me when I'm awake. She knows if I've been battle good, so I better be good, for goodness sake. Don't get me, Deborah Knight. Scary lady. Okay. Australia to recognise a Palestinian statehood from Channel 9.
Good afternoon, Deborah Knight with you, breaking into programming now to take you to a live press conference with the Prime Minister speaking in Canberra.
Oh no, that's the wrong video. Sorry guys, I stuffed up. Ugh. I meant to watch this video.
Israel is battling a global campaign of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Netanyahu slams Australia for considering Palestinian statehood. Well, they're not considering it. They said they're going to support it. But I digress. Let's go.
Netanyahu has claimed Israel is battling a global campaign of lies in its war in Gaza, adding that countries, including Australia, are deluded if they think recognising a Palestinian state will help to bring peace to the region. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran is in Jerusalem.
Benjamin Netanyahu rarely fronts the media, and that's why his two press conferences on Sunday, one to the foreign press, the other to local media, are significant, not least because it comes just days after Israel's security cabinet signed off on his plan to take control of Gaza City by force, a major escalation in the war and one which will force the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, many of whom have been forced to move time and time again during this war. In the face of growing international condemnation of that plan and more broadly of the destruction wrought by Israeli forces.
You thought our consideration was conditional on no Hamas? They've seemed to sort of water that down a little bit. They're like advocating for a like demilitarized Hamas, which yeah, I don't know. It's it all just seems like semantics, honestly. And unfeasible. I don't see how that's gonna happen.
over 22 months of this war, Benjamin Netanyahu had some pointed comments for countries including Australia.
When we do what any country would do faced with this genocidal terrorist organization that has performed the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust, I think we're actually applying force judiciously, and they know it. They know what they...
Excuse me? What's your disproportional response to that then, mate? This guy, he's really read, like, you know, the Edward Bernays, like, you know, PSYOP book of propaganda, where, like, if I just confidently espouse my bullshit enough times, people will surely agree with me. It's like a lot of, like, the political pundits on Twitch and stuff like that, they talk in pseudo-intellectual voice, right? Even though what they're saying can easily be debunked, easily be fact-checked, because they talk in pseudo-intellectual voice, people take them seriously, whereas, like, I have my little bitchy voice, and everyone thinks I'm a lot dumber than I am. But you know, that's but yeah, like, that's his playbook, right? If I just say it, you know, with enough bravado, people are gonna buy my shit wholesale. And look, invoking the name of the Holocaust when you are at best ethnically cleansing a people is it's pretty flippin' rich, mate. It's pretty flippin' rich.
What they would do if right next to Melbourne or right next to Sydney.
That is not how you say Melbourne. Oh my freaking god. You don't... We just need to change the spelling of Melbourne, honestly. People that pronounce the R in Melbourne, oh my god. Stop. Stop it. Get some help. You do have something to say about the ethnic cleansing thing? Yeah, I feel like you disagree, but you may state your opinion, Prism. I give you permission. Now you can say whatever you want.
You had this horrific attacks. I think you would do it, at least what we're doing, probably maybe not as efficiently and as precisely as we're doing it.
The distinction Mr. Netanyahu is glossing over there is the difference between Israel's right to self-defense after those deadly attacks by Hamas on October 7, 2023, something which many countries, including Australia, say it has a right to enforce, and what has happened since.
You're talking about the Hamas Covenant of 1988. Yeah, I've read that too. And look, like, there are definitely some factions of Shiite. That's the one, I think. You look, like, there obviously are, you know, some more extremist elements within, you know, within most religions. And look, like, there definitely are some people that do call for caliphates and do call for that, for those types of things. And, like, I wouldn't deny that. I know that, like, even getting rid of Christians in the Hamas are Sunni, not Shia. Yeah. I always get them mixed up. I'm you know, I'm operating on about 4 hours of sleep in the last 24 hours, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But yeah, there's you know, like ISIS, for example, there's definitely a lot of people that kind of believe in that interpretation of you know, what should we say, like, yeah, religious theocracies, the theocracy and caliphates, there definitely are. But look, I don't know what role, definitely won't be an official role that Hamas is going to play in a Palestinian state. Especially, like, because they're going to need a lot of international aid to be able to rebuild, right? They're going to need a lot of international aid to be able to rebuild their infrastructure. It's all been leveled. So I think, like, they're going to have to really play play ball with the international community. You think both sides are at fault? Oh yeah, like both sides have done horrific things, but what's happening right now is yeah, look, I'm not going to say that Hamas, you know, conducting some of the more militaristic avenues of furthering their agenda are you know, are okay. I'm a pacifist. I don't believe in any violence, but at the same time, I can understand how growing up in that environment would 100% radicalize you. You know, I don't agree with any violence at all, and I would always like for there to be peaceful resolutions to things, but obviously we don't live in a perfect world because people are assholes. There is I'm reading chat right now, by the way, just in case anyone thinks these are my thoughts. We're getting controversial with PRISM, apparently, guys. There is substantially more evidence behind Hamas's alleged war crimes compared to the word of mouth behind a large majority of the IDF's alleged war crimes. I just know, just going off anecdotal stuff myself. I've heard the way that a lot of Israeli or, dual Israeli citizens have spoken about Palestinian people. Like, I remember when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I lived in the eastern suburbs of Sydney where the majority of Australian Jews live. And I've heard the way that they talk, because I'm from the western suburbs, right, where the majority of Australian, Arab and Muslims live. And I've heard the way that they talk about people in the western suburbs primarily because of the socioeconomic status for one, but particularly because they are Muslim and particularly because they are, Arab. And I think there's definitely like a cultural tendency to dehumanize those people. And that's anecdotal, but I've noticed that it does seem to be something culturally amongst people of Ashkenazi descent, and obviously so people that by extension, are of the, Jewish faith. I've heard the horrific things that they say about Arabs and Muslims. So, and they just feel free saying that. I think because I was attending the University of Sydney, they assumed that I wasn't from Western Sydney, and because I'm very pale, they probably just assumed I was, whatever they assumed about me. But it was wrong because I am from one of the most Muslim enclaves in probably outside of the Middle East, to be honest. And most of my friends, I would say, 95% of my friends are Muslims. I was just sitting there going, oh God. But, because I've got green eyes and very pale skin and, attend a group of 8 university, they felt very comfortable espousing some what I would call unsavory views. You should probably keep to yourself. But it was very eye-opening to just see how just how easily it flowed out of their mouths, like it was stuff that they say all the time, amongst themselves. So I did find that interesting. But again, that's anecdotal. It's just based on some Jewish people from Australia, from Sydney's eastern suburbs. But yeah, I did wonder if it was indicative of a wider cultural phenomenon, I guess is the word. Sunni is also the branch of Hadith. I'm reading a quote again, by the way. Collections with the ones about Prophet Muhammad permitting and partaking in child marriage. Yeah, I've read a lot of different different theological interpretations of like how old Aisha was when she married Muhammad. I'm not going to comment on that because I'm not like I'm not a theologist, I'm not a religious scholar. It's something really outside my purview. Whilst I can speak some conversational Arabic, I definitely can't read ancient Arabic, and I'm, you know, never going to be able to read the Quran in its original form. So I don't. I can't comment on that. I just I believe in the sanctity of human life, and I believe in the dignity of, you know, of people and their right to live peaceful, self-fulfilling, self-actualized existences. And I don't like people being slaughtered, and I think Israel is has gone too far. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not really somebody that's in a position to debate like historical the, you know, the complexities of like the historical record in regards to religious figures. Like, you know, I've only been able to find a few primary sources that mention like Jesus Christ. I still believe, you know, I still believe in Jesus. I still believe he is the Son of God. It's like, you know, I don't know. Religion is funny like that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gasbagging at this stage. I'm just hearing the sound of my own voice. Let's continue on the video. I went off on way too many tangents. Let's go.
The massive death toll, now reportedly in excess of 60,000 people, widespread destruction and devastation, and starvation taking hold, something which many critics of Israel say go well beyond self-defense. The idea behind Mr. Netanyahu's press conference was to write what he claims are lies being spread by Hamas and being swallowed by the international media and its audiences. He continues to deny Israel has enforced a policy of starvation in Gaza, although he has conceded there was an issue with the deprivation of food, blaming Hamas for that, even though the overwhelming majority of evidence and opinion says Israeli aid restrictions are responsible. Those comments came as Palestinian health authorities in Gaza said the death toll from starvation continued to rise, now at 217, including 100 children. The Prime Minister was reluctant to put a specific time frame on how quickly his military will take control of Gaza City, but insisted it was the best way to finish the war quickly, rejecting claims it will threaten the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza, 50 Israelis still held, 20 believed to be alive. He was about to finish his press conference when I managed to get him to comment on the issue of Palestinian statehood, specifically seeing as France, the UK and Canada have all announced they will move to recognise a Palestinian state, albeit with slightly different conditions and caveats.
Again, why is an Israeli press conference in English? Because it's for us, Delta. It's our propaganda. It's our propaganda. It's straight out of, you know, the Edward Bernays propaganda playbook. Who is coincidentally the nephew, and there's a lot of inbreeding in the Sigmund Freud family as well. The nephew of Sigmund Freud, that famous Sigmund Freud, the father of modern psychology, psychoanalytics, and well, I'm not gonna go into that because we start to get into some Alex Jones esque territory, but I do think there are some merits to those more conspiratable aspects concerning that particular lineage. That particular family seem to be up in their eyeballs in some very questionable things.
It's not a position Australia has taken just yet, although the government says it's a matter of when, not if, the Australian government would recognise a Palestinian state. And to that point, the Prime Minister had this to say.
Most of the Jewish public is against the Palestinian state for the simple reason that they know it won't bring peace, it'll bring war. To have European countries and Australia, march into that, rabbit hole, just like that, fall right into it, and buy this canard.
He almost said, buy this shit, and he stopped himself. That's not very statesmanly of you, BB. That's not very, how very uncouth of you. How very uncouth.
It is disappointing, and I think it's actually shameful, but it's not going to change our position.
It's not surprising language or rhetoric from a Prime Minister finding himself increasingly at odds with other world leaders who are struggling to accept and condone what they are seeing happening on the ground in Gaza. But in the same way that Mr. Netanyahu says he won't be swayed by the decisions of France, the UK and Canada, and perhaps Australia in the near future, it's unlikely those countries will change their minds based on his fiery defence. All that will matter here is Israel's actions on the ground. And as Mr. Netanyahu says, he believes he has to, quote, finish the job against Hamas. So that suggests that situation also won't change either.
It's so interesting to me how many like assassinations and things like that the CIA has been, you know, a party to, of sometimes democratically elected leaders, and then this dude's just allowed to, you know, do whatever he wants. If it was anybody else, this dude would have been taken out. Like, I don't doubt that. What's happening is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Like, there's no justification for loss of life on that scale, especially when we're talking about, like, you know, a population where a substantial percentage of that population are women and children. Like, you have to be some type of fucking deranged to be okay with that. Oh, Palestine's UN envoy or envoy. It's probably envoy, right? It feels like a French word. Mods don't post your message. Twitch has like built-in filters for certain words, so it might just be filtering them out. It might not be the mods unless like you can specifically see that it was done by a mod. I honestly, I can't see because I've got OBS up, so I can only see like, yeah. Sorry, Delta, I don't know, but I'm sure Hyperbovian probably was just trying to prevent people from getting banned or something like that. If he did censor you in any way. Pardon me. I am not a well person. How on earth is Israel sitting here? Palestine's UN envoy, I don't know how to say it, plus Israel at the UN.
Doy la palabra a la delegación del Estado Observador de Palestina.
Yeah, Delta, my dad's best friend and my godfather is actually Jewish. Like, his mother, my godfather's mum was a French Jew that came to Australia after World War II. And he's the most pro-Palestine person I know. He's the most pro-Palestine person that I know, but he's not a practicing Jew because he's my godfather, obviously. He grew up in, like, rural Victoria and, yeah, he was raised Catholic because his dad's Catholic and he was raised Catholic, hence why he's my godfather. But yeah, he's ethnically Jewish and yeah, he would be considered Jewish by the Israeli state, right? Because it goes down the maternal line, right? Judaism is passed down through the mother. So if your mum's Jewish, that makes you Jewish. So he is Jewish by everything that, you know, Jewish religious law would ask of him. But he's extremely pro-Palestine. Should you find out about YouTube texting policies? I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I don't understand people that profess to be Christian and then, or Christians that profess to be pro-life and then aren't vehemently anti-war. Because one of the reasons why I'm anti-war is because, like, I believe that life is sacred. I mean, I just think war's stupid and senseless and pointless most of the time anyway. But, yeah, I just think human life is sacred. And, I just find it incredibly upsetting. I mean, if you do, like, follow the religious teachings of Christianity, you would know that, like, God doesn't consider you better than anybody else because you're rich, because you're white, because you're this, because you're that, or the other. We are all God's children, all of us, and we are all worthy of his grace. Like, you don't have any more chance of getting into heaven, or you're not any more worthy of God's love than anybody else. It really is like a true, like, egalitarian religion. Literally all you have to do to get into heaven as a Christian is say, yeah, I believe Jesus was the Son of God and died for my sins. Like, that's literally it. Nothing else. You can live the like, you know, you can do what you want. You can, you know, play now, pray later if you want to. If you want to, like, I go on the lay-by plan a lot, you know. I you know, I like fun, but yes.
Thank you, Mr. President, for convening this meeting based on a request supported by nearly every member of the Security Council to address the grave situation in Gaza and further shocking developments. Allow me also to thank ASG Yancha for his report and also Mr. Raja Singham for his briefing. Mr. President, Israel is killing Palestine in Gaza. That is its objective. And there, over 2 million victims are enduring unbearable agony that the human mind can barely comprehend. We are not allowed to fail them any longer. We do not have the luxury to feel guilt or shame. We owe them to act now to stop this genocide. Mr. President, there is something undeniable. Israel does not care about what we say, what you say. It is obvious. The only thing that matters now is what we do. What will force Israel to change course is our ability to transform justified condemnation into...
I mean, who we need to be, obviously, I don't want to diagnose Bibi Netanyahu with any type of psychological pathology, although I believe there's a plethora of things going on. Most notably by his inability to be able to empathize with human beings, to be able to see, you know, other human beings as living creatures with, like, the same feelings and hopes and dreams and aspirations as him. Oh, hey, Fan. You got back home just now? Yeah, the day is over, thankfully. I hope you had a good day. What was I saying? Oh, God. I'm such a ditz. I always forget everything mid-sentence. Oh, yeah, I wasn't calling Bibi Netanyahu, you know, I wasn't saying that he suffered with some type of psychopathy or narcissism or, you know, any type of personality disorder, but I was saying, you know, he probably would meet a lot of the criteria for those things. Bibi doesn't see others as people. He doesn't. He doesn't. You have to see. This is what the Germans did to the Jewish people. This is what they did, right? They didn't see them as people. They dehumanized them, and he's doing exactly the same thing. And then has the audacity, the temerity to invoke the Holocaust, right? To evoke the Holocaust and say, you know, this is the 7th of October was the biggest attack on Jews since the Holocaust. It's like, well, you know, you're dehumanizing a person and justifying the eradication and the degradation of and an annexation of, you know, an indigenous homeland to these people who have been in that area for millennia, using exactly the same rhetoric and exactly the same, you know, mental gymnastics. You're going to head to sleep. See you, Delta. I hope you have a good night. It has been a long day. It has been a really long day. I am pretty tired as well. I am pretty tired.
Just actions. And history will judge us all. We appreciate the description of almost all of you of the deepness of the pain and the tragedy that our people is enduring. While this is okay, it is not sufficient. You have to act. You have to do something about it. You have to stop it. Otherwise, this analysis and description does not mean anything.
But yeah, you can't shame Bibi Netanyahu, right? He doesn't have shame. You can't really shame Donald Trump, but what you can do with Donald Trump is undermine his ego. Undermine his ego, you know, kind of do a bit of manipulation, a bit of gaslighting, make it seem like you're making people think he's a bit of a beta, a bit of a bitch boy. And once you do that, once Donald Trump feels like he's starting to look a bit foolish to the public, his little ego won't be able to handle it. And he will renege his support of Israel once America withdraws its support of Israel. Israel is not a tenable state without the support of Israel. And so that will fall. And bam. I don't want to say that I just, you know, solved all the problems in the world. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, that's you know, that's probably we could make it a short night. After all, I did 5 hours yesterday. Yeah, you know what? Like, let's do an hour and a half for a stream. I reckon that's good. I reckon that's good because honestly, I would like to go to bed. I'm so tired. And yeah, I had horrific stomach cramps last night. I could not sleep. Unfortunately, even without the USA, they still have nukes. Yeah, well, I mean, if they want to play mutually assured destruction, they can do that. If they launch nukes at anyone else, they're getting, like, Turkey's got nukes. They'll probably get a nuke straight back, you know? I don't doubt it.
If you do not do something to stop it, and you have tools available to you to do so. Mr. President, there is an international plan adopted by the International High-Level Conference in Palestine, co-chaired by Saudi Arabia and France, that starts with ending the use of starvation as a weapon of war and ending the war on Gaza through a ceasefire, the release of the hostages and prisoners, a massive surge of humanitarian aid to the Palestinian people in coordination with and leadership of the United Nations, and in line with humanitarian principles and the full withdrawal of Israel from Gaza. The plan further foresees the Palestinian National Authority resuming its sole governmental and security duties in the Gaza Strip with regional and international support, and Hamas handing over its weapons to the Palestinian National Authority in the context of an end to the war and in line with the objective of an independent Palestinian state. It sets forth an irreversible pathway to an independent and sovereign Palestinian state leading to shared peace and security and regional integration. Many of you referred to the results of that.
Well, look, Ricochet, like, I think there's a good reason why nukes haven't been used in warfare since Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Obviously, you know, the America's done substantial testing of nukes, but, you know, they haven't dropped them, you know, as an act of aggression against another sovereign nation. Because especially with how powerful nukes are in the modern era, you know, the nukes that were dropped in 1945 were so piss weak compared to what nuclear weapons are capable of doing now. Like, essentially, like, there's strategic points on the globe where you would only need to drop 3 nukes simultaneously, where you could essentially induce a nuclear winter and, you know, destroy life on the planet, just completely decimate, like, especially, you know, human civilization. It's yeah, look, there's a reason why, like, yeah, there's a reason why Israel will be very, very foolish to use nuclear weapons, because yeah, there's a reason why, you know, the term mutually assured destruction became so popular and really entered the common vernacular, you know, back in the Cold War, because it was like, whilst it was scary, obviously there was the Bay of Pigs incident, and, you know, there were a lot of things where, you know, people kind of felt like, you know, there were some close calls during the Cold War. But at the end of the day, if Russia or America kicked off, if the USSR or America kicked off, it was mutually assured destruction. You know, they both had, like, these fail-safes built in to their weapon systems, where even if every single person in their country was dead, they still had the capacity to fire nukes back. Like, that is absolutely insane. Israel thought nukes would protect them? Yeah, well. That's why they were so gung-ho on just taking out everything in Iran, right? They were so gung-ho. They didn't want Iran to have, you know, to have the same weapons that they have. It's pretty rich. It's pretty rich. Especially considering, like, there are other states, other like sovereign nations that are, you know, not exactly friendly towards Israel that also have nukes. So, you know, I think they've still got, you know, things to worry about.
Historic international conference about 2 weeks ago here in the General Assembly. If Israel's concerns was actually the end of Hamas rule or Hamas disarming, if its concern was actually security, it would have rallied this plan and should have been happy to see this plan adopted by almost the entire international community. Israel is seeking to cement its full military control over the Gaza Strip.
This is what I think. And, you know, I'm an incredibly cynical person, but this is what I think. I think if Israel wanted the hostages back, they would have got them back pretty contemporaneously, right? They would have got them back. If you don't think Mossad could have located all of those hostages and strategically extracted them with minimal casualties, then you don't know much about Mossad. And to go back to the nuke things, it's so interesting that all of Iran's nuclear installations were, you know, deep underground, but Israel knew exactly what they looked like. They had all the schematics, they had all these things. But their neighbor, Gaza, which is like one of the most surveilled places in the world, they, you know, just definitely don't know where all these tunnels are, and they definitely, you know, don't have the types of radar that would be able to locate. They definitely don't have the type of infrared, you know, technology that would be able to show them exactly where the hostages are. They definitely don't have that. They definitely don't have like high HD satellite images of like everything going on. They definitely didn't see where the hostages were taken. Like, no. It's not very believable. It's not very believable at all. It's about as believable as weapons of mass destruction. But Israel wanted us to believe that, you know, so we would take out Saddam Hussein. So, you know.
And is prolonging this war not to end Hamas rule or to disarm it, but to prevent independent Palestinian state. That is the truth. The Israeli government has said that clearly over and over again. Somebody was referring to the statement of Prime Minister Netanyahu. He doesn't want to see a Palestinian governing body overlooking the affairs over Gaza, but somebody else, not Palestinians.
Self-determination is like an intrinsic human right, but he doesn't want Palestinians to oversee the running of their own state. That just goes to show what, like, he doesn't see Palestinians as people. He sees them as like animals that need like a shepherd.
He said it. It's not a secret. It's not an accusation. It's a fact. Israel proved long ago it was not concerned by the fate of the hostages. Look.
Maybe they're using Iran nukes as an excuse to get America to take out Iran. Oh, 100% Ricochet. That's exactly what Bibi was hoping was going to happen. But instead, you know, they just bombed, you know, the few strategic sites that they did with whatever their deep penetrating, I don't know. It all sounds very phallic to me. They're deep penetrating missiles or whatever the fuck. And, you know, little boys and their toys, I guess.
The tens of thousands demonstrating in Tel Aviv and other cities, demanding immediate ceasefire and seriously.
I mean, if you don't think that Bibi Netanyahu was behind, like, the Arab Spring, everything that happened in Libya with Gaddafi, you know, everything that, like, the Americans have done in the Middle East in the last, you know, in the last few decades, that, like, I've got a bridge to sell you, mate. Like, it's, yeah, he's been using them as his, you know, as his little willing servants. It's so weird that like this country that's like nothing, can't even sustain itself, has and again, look, this goes back to like, it always goes back to freaky sex stuff. Everything always does. But this is to do with like, you know, the Jeffrey Epstein type of like Mossad agents, right? That have the dirt files, that you know, are chucking these big parties where celebrities, politicians, all these people go, you know, whatever you're into, they've got it. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna have the hot chicks there. They, you know, whoops, we didn't tell you they were underage and we filmed the whole thing and now we control you. And that's what they do. They own you. That's what they do. They own you. Mossad operates in blackmail. It's a not so, you know, secret. It's a pretty open secret, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Concern. If this insanity to take place against our people in the Gaza Strip, then this is the execution or the death of the hostages, because that is the position of the families and the tens of thousands who are demonstrating in Tel Aviv. This latest decision is some more blatant demonstration of that. The Israeli government dehumanized and demonized Palestinians to such an extent that its genocide against them through mass killing and starvation, including of children, is not opposed in Israel by some, is only opposed in Israel by some brave voices. Israel proved long ago that its goal is the destruction of the Palestinian people through forced transfer and massacres to facilitate its annexation of our land. If some
Damn straight. I don't know your name. Cute Palestinian man. Damn straight, son.
people believe what Prime Minister Netanyahu said yesterday and today, that there is a huge global lie, that there is no starvation in Gaza, and the two gentlemen from the leadership of the UN is also participating in spreading lies, then why don't you, the Security Council, go to the Security Council, take with you 100 journalists from your countries and other countries to verify exactly what is happening in Gaza.
Yep.
If he's so sure of this global conspiracy about the lie, let him prove it.
Well, I've seen enough doctors. And people that have no skin in the game. You know, people from Nordic countries, people from European countries, people that are just doctors, you know, took a Hippocratic oath to, you know, to save lives. And they're saying that this stuff is happening. They're saying, you know, the starvation, the atrocities that they've witnessed firsthand. You know, I'm going to believe people that are so compassionate, that are so empathetic and so, you know, so upstanding that they've dedicated their lives to the service of humanity. I'm going to believe those people, because why would they lie? Why would they lie? They don't need to. They don't need to be there. They're doctors. They could be making money in private practice. But these are the people who we should be, you know, who we should be putting up on pedestals, not like weird celebrities and talentless musicians and freaking e-thoughts and, you know, Instagram models and I don't know, whoever the fuck it, like, you know, these are the people, like, you know, people like Fred Hollows, people like that, like I've always found so inspirational. You know, they could be making all of this money, but, you know, they choose to go out into, you know, the developing world and help people. I think that's so admirable. But like, my point is, why would these people lie? We've heard the accounts from so many doctors, so many nurses, so many humanitarian volunteers. Why would they lie? What incentive would they have to lie? Do you think the Palestinian people are giving them money? Do you think they have wads of cash lying around? They don't even have food.
Invite you, allow you to go to the Gaza Strip and see exactly what is happening there. Take journalists with you so that you can verify exactly what is happening in Gaza. Because I think Mr. Netanyahu, in spite of all of the effort that he is putting with his government, he doesn't have credibility. He did not convince almost all of you.
No one believes him. And we know even in somewhere as far as Australia, we know that, like, you know, 1/3 people marched across the Sydney Harbour Bridge, pissing down rain in the middle of winter. And as a Sydney gal, let me tell you, it's windy as fuck on the Harbour Bridge. In the middle of winter, pissing down rain, and that many people still showed up. And that just goes to show, like, the sentiment amongst even the Australian people a world away. People are seeing through this shit. Normal people aren't sociopaths, aren't, you know, psychopaths. They see women and children suffering, innocence, and they don't care about the peripheral issues. They just want it to stop. So politicians are going to start doing whatever they have to do to make it stop, because that's what their constituents want. And it really, that might seem reductive, but it really is that fucking simple. Like, it really actually is that fucking simple.
And tens of countries outside this chamber from his narrative, and the narrative of his government, and the narrative of his foreign minister, who came trying to manipulate a humanitarian story of a captive and the pain of that caused to that family, and he failed in trying to convince you to forget about the pain of the Palestinian people. Such illegal and immoral plans cannot be met with only outrage. That would not be sufficient. They require the mobilization of all the tools available to stop them, and we really appreciate the massive reaction from almost all countries in all corners of the globe, whether Arab and Muslim countries, or European countries, or countries that are sitting around this table, in condemning, as 5 of them stood outside this chamber in a brave way and principled way, not to please anyone, not to reward anyone, but to act on the basis of principles and conviction in condemning this plan by the Israeli government and demanding that they stop this plan, not to allow it to be implemented and to reconsider. Israel proved long ago it does not care about the Charter, international law, or the resolutions of this Council if not accompanied by consequences. These facts have led many to rightly wonder, how on earth is Israel still allowed to sit around this table and in these United Nations? If it was another country, you would have been imposing sanctions
pardon
long
me.
time ago.
Yep.
Mr. President, countries around the world are adopting more and more measures to end any form of complicity and to advance accountability, and we appreciate these efforts. Country like Germany to decide not to send weapons to Israel to kill our people in Gaza, just only to use one example. All states should undertake such steps immediately. Of course, it would be wonderful if you implement your resolutions, and would be excessively wonderful if you adopt additional resolutions with measures.
Palestine is technically under Israel's governance. Yeah. The West Bank and Gaza. It's complicated. Like, there's tiers of like citizenship. Like, there's Palestinians that live in Israel, but they have less rights than Israelis that live in Israel. Like, if you're an Arab that lives in like Jerusalem, it's like a whole thing. And that's why they call it apartheid, right? Because they're not all equal.
But if these are not possible, act in your national capacity. You have tools available to you, in addition to the tools available to the Security Council, but you have tools available to you in your national.
And look, like, Albo's not going to lose any votes if he comes out even stronger. If he comes out even stronger and says, hey, I want to get the ADF involved in some type of aid distribution operation, you know, armed aid distribution. I think the majority of Australians would be very supportive of that. And look, the only way that people would get hurt in that scenario is if the IDF decides to start shooting at, you know, at our defense force for trying to feed people. So yeah, that would be on them. But like, that's really the only thing I can see happening now, because unless we start really hurting Trump, with the only place that he cares is his ego and his public reputation. He's like a high school kid that just needs to be cool. He needs to be seen as being cool, and if we take that away from him, he'll do whatever he can to people to like him again. It's just it's very small PP behavior, but that's how it works. Oh, that reminded me to segue. So you know how there's FEMA in the United States? So whenever there's like a natural disaster, you know, like something like Hurricane Katrina or the flooding that they just had in Texas, right? FEMA are the people that that sort of like render the assistance to those places. And Donald Trump was saying any any state, American state, that is involved in the BDS movement. So, you know, the boycotting of Israel, boycott, divestment, and sanction of Israel. Any American state that supports, you know, boycotting Israel will not be eligible to FEMA funding should a natural disaster strike that state. How insane is that? Doesn't Gaza still have a water problem? Yeah, they 100% do have a water problem. I believe, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I know Israel heavily depends upon desalination, and I believe Palestine is the same. I believe they like very heavily rely on desalination plants. So if any of those get damaged in bombings and things like that, I believe things get pretty dire.
National capacity. Many of you are using them. I urge others to use them and to ask others to do many other things, including the recognition of the State of Palestine.
Well, should I play the food games or should I go to bed? I'll leave it up to chat because I'm happy to stick around for another 15 minutes or, you know, just hit the hay. Let's play some games. All right, we'll play some games. Boop, 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 boop. Ooh, I have them here. How convenient. Pardon me. I am not a well girl. Ooh. Bacon cheeseburger or popcorn chicken and curly fries. I think popcorn chicken and curly fries. Yeah, boy. Let's go. Swindon Town. Footlong sausage roll. Oh, I made a doodle joke about that last time. Or a mini pizza. I don't know, that pizza looks really sad. Sausage rolls are really good, but I don't see any tomato sauce. So, you know, I am one of like the bogan people. I definitely need my tomato sauce with my meat pie or sausage roll. I don't know, sausage rolls are so good. That usually I would go for the pizza, but that pizza looks really sad. There's like one piece of pepperoni on it. Like, what's the point? Just have a cheese pizza at that point. Like, you know? That pizza is so sad. Yeah, let's go the sausage roll. Oh, people agreed with us. Yay. Meatballs, chips, peas and gravy, or fish and chips. The fish and chips looks really good. Yeah. Pepperoni pizza or pepperoni pizza burger. This pizza looks a bit more pizza-ish. Nope, I was wrong. I stand corrected. Salt and pepper chicken and chips or burger and chips. This looks good. I'm going to go for the chicken and salt and pepper. Oh, wrong again. Spicy steak sandwich. Okay. Or nachos. Nachos. Yay. Oh, I had nachos for dinner, guys. I had nachos for dinner. I made it with all the stuff I bought from Costco. We've got a kebab. Or we've got a sausage stromboli, which looks like some type of... I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. Looks like something. How many booms for my Costco? I don't... That American family disturbs me, that Boom Boom family or whatever the Rizzler or whatever you said it was. That disturbs me. I'm not a fan. I don't know. I feel like so out of touch with internet culture sometimes, but I'm like, oh god. I'm not about that, you know? Just not about that. I'm gonna go for this. Oh, I was wrong. Fine. Crabble burger and chips or hot roast bowl. We'll go the burger and chips, although I would have the hot roast bowl. Oh. I'm just wrong about everything tonight. Cheese and onion panini Or a double cheeseburger. Surely the double cheeseburger. Currywurst and beer. Currywurst and beer. Currywurst is so good. Well, the first time I went to Germany and people were like, oh my god, you have to have a currywurst. I'm like, it's just chips and sausage with curry sauce, like curry powder on it. Like, what the heck? And then I tried it and I was like, currywurst, hey? Currywurst. And the thing is, like, literally everywhere, like, serves beer. And they have Czech beer. Like, they have Czech beer everywhere. Which, like, you know, obviously I prefer. It's in my blood. Czechs are the highest per capita beer drinkers. My family in Moravia, they have beer with their breakfast. They don't really binge drink though, but I did when I was there because I'm Australian, and you know, gotta keep the traditions alive, I guess. Gotta binge drink. Shrimp, sugar, fish sauce, garlic, pepper, pork fat, bamboo shoots, lemongrass. This has to be like Thai or Vietnamese. It's got lemongrass. It's got fish sauce. Let's go for Thailand. Boop, ba-doop. Boop, ba-doop. Thailand is hot. Okay, what else does it have? Rice paper. Vietnam. Vietnam. If I read the rice paper, I would have gone for Vietnam straight away, but I didn't read that bit, so I guess it's my fault. Ooh, pork, oil, cumin, onion, garlic, hot pepper, salt, water, cilantro, thyme, green seasoning, lime juice, chardon beni, tomato optional, soy sauce optional. This dish features succulent pork marinated in an aromatic blend of cumin seeds, garlic, hot peppers, and other spices. What are spices? What's wrong with me? The pork is then slow cooked to perfection, allowing the flavors. I feel like this could be Indian or Filipino or... No, Indians don't eat pork, do they? I don't think they do. I don't think that's common there. Oh, it pairs well with rice or roti. Okay. Roti. Roti makes me think of Malaysia. It also makes me think of India. It's a Caribbean flavor? Huh. It pairs well with rice or roti. I guess there are a lot of... Could it even be like Pacific Islander? Could it be like Fijian Indian or something like that? Although I guess a lot of them are Muslim, so they wouldn't have pork. Huh. Well, let's try Jamaica. Are you Jamaican? Because you're making me crazy. And if it's not a Caribbean flavor, then you know, I'm gonna find you. Yeah, pork isn't too popular in Fiji. Yeah, because I had Fijian Indian neighbors that were Muslim when I lived in Granville, and they were they were Muslim. So I don't know where that story was going. Yeah, the story was just that they were Muslim. That's They used to always bring samosas over. Oh, the mum was the best cook. She was so sweet. She was the sweetest lady. A lot of Fijian Indians are Catholic too. Yeah, but I only knew the Muslim ones because I lived in Western Sydney. So, you know, I don't, yeah. Well, what should we go with? Should we go with for Jamaica? Are you Jamaican? Because you're making me crazy. Jamaica is warm. Jamaica is warm. Where's near Jamaica that would eat roti? Because I don't know. Whenever I have roti, it's usually at a like Malaysian restaurant. We have one in Melbourne called Roti Road. It's cheap and it's delicious. Yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy. Boop, 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 boop. I'm gonna put this over here It's not in the way. Looks like we're going southeast of Jamaica. Looks like we're going southeast of Jamaica. Yeah, I've got no idea. I'm thinking maybe it could be like Cuba or somewhere. Should we try Cuba? Cubans love pork. And I know they have rice. I don't know if like... Do you reckon I should try Cuba? I feel like that's would show as warm. Could be Trinidad. Okay. Let's try Trinidad. Trinidad and Tobago. How did you... You're so smart. Oh my god. I was going to guess Cuba and then I was going to guess Puerto Rico. Butter, sugar, eggs, cocoa powder, vanilla extract, flour, salt, powdered sugar, whipped cream, optional berries. This dish is a gooey chocolate dessert known for its rich, sticky texture. It's similar to a fudgy brownie but with a slightly crisp outer layer and a soft molten center. Typically baked in a round. I feel like this is either American, Canadian, or like British. If it's like a brownie, I'm gonna go. Look, let's try the United States. Based on my feelings. This looks like Britain though, doesn't it? United States is cold. United Kingdom. United Kingdom is warm and we're going east. So we're going to Europe. Could it be French? It looks like a brownie. Yeah, it said it is essentially a brownie but in cake form. It said it is similar to a fudgy brownie but with a slightly crisp outer layer and a soft molten center. Let's just try France. I see London, I see France. I can see your underpants. Nope. I don't know. I got nothing. We're only warm. We're not even hot. It's Swedish? Okay. Wow! It does look good. It does look good. Well, we're a super foodie because it's got a poopy name. I always forget that it shows the name after a few guesses, and a lot of the time I don't look at the name and I just keep on guessing, like, you know, just seeing what sticks at the wall. Anyway, guys, I think most of chat's already in bed. It really feels like one of those days. Let's call it a night, guys. But thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I am going to have another cup of tea and rest of my vocal cords, and hopefully my stomach can chill out tonight and I can get some sleep, because that would be really nice. All right. See you next time. Bye.